Hello everyone. This is Shivalika from Renewable India. Today it is our pleasure to introduce Mr. Pritesh Mahajan, the CEO and co-founder of Revamp Moto, a revolutionary company that aims to transform the automobile industry. Mr. Mahajan is a visionary entrepreneur with a strong background in engineering and business management. He has led his team to develop innovative technologies and products that have gained worldwide recognition. Today, we have the opportunity to learn from Mr. Mahajan, his journey, his inspiration behind Revamp Moto, and his vision of the future of the company. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Pritesh Mahajan. Welcome, Mr. Mahajan.
Thank you, Shivarika. Thank you for having me here.
Okay. So today, Mr. Mahajan, we know that you are working very hard on motor revamp, and we want to know how the company, what is the inspiration behind revamp moto, and why did you focus especially on the electric vehicles and
Okay.
especially for the street vendors. So how did this inspiration worked out for you and for the company as well?
Okay. So I would like to start. I'd like to go back 2.5 years from now, and if if I have to touch upon how I met my first co-founder was Pushkaraj. So I met Pushkaraj through a common friend. We were working on a couple of projects of our own. That was not into electric vehicles. There was some special purpose machinery projects that we were working on, and then we realized that there's good amount of potential and good number of EV OEMs are emerging in India, and basically the EV revolution is definitely going to stay. Uh, so which is where we realized, why not try out our hands in electric vehicles as well, and that is where we met my second co-founder Jayesh, and Jayesh already was working on a similar electric vehicle project. Pushkaraj was trying to do something on his own. I was trying to do something of my own, and that is where we realized that being in the same city, why should we compete with each other? Why can't we just collaborate our hands and basically, work towards a bigger goal, which is where Revamp Moto formed in September 2020, and after that basically I went to UK for my second masters. So Pushkaraj and Jayesh were leading the team. They were doing the R&D. They were also doing the basic prototyping of the you know of the first cut of the products that we wanted to make. And when I came back from UK in March, we already had the first prototypes, which were the concept validation prototypes that we had. And that time when we were working, we had to take a very rough decision, because we realized that working in scooter segment on electric vehicles, that would be like running in a rat race with the other OEMs. And there were good number of OEMs, good number of startups that were coming into it. And then we realized that we don't have, our pockets are not deep enough to actually compete with such OEMs and startups, which is where we realized that, why can't we make something, or why can't we work on something that will be a niche, that will actually solve a bigger problem with a bigger purpose. And that is where we decided that we will work on modular platforms that will actually allow a user to, I would say, use that product, use that vehicle as his shop on two wheels, let's say, or as his, or that vehicle will actually support him to earn his livelihood. So, and that will actually make a big impact in his life. And that is where we also wanted to work on a bigger picture, which was just more than, any other EV two-wheeler company. We wanted to actually make and bring an impact and to empower the society. And we wanted to actually help people use their two-wheelers in much more than commuting, and to basically probably use them to earn their livelihood. That is where the entire vision of Revamp started, and that is how we started this company.
Oh, that is really quite inspiring. So it is basically a group team effect. Yes. Okay, great. So actually now we know that, when we talk about electric vehicles and when we talk about the traditional vehicles, there is a lot of difference. But for the layman person who wants to buy, and basically from coming out from a non-technical background, people who doesn't know, they know, okay, this is electric vehicle and this is traditional vehicle. They know that much. But when you want to approach your customers, so what are the things, what are the features and the characteristics that you look forward to, or rather the customers look forward to when they are trying to differentiate between these two different prospects, and they want to focus more on electric vehicles and especially the scooters?
Correct. So that's a very interesting question. Actually, when we were doing our market research, we were actually studying out two different focal groups.
Yes.
Ones who were using electric vehicles, ones who were using petrol vehicles. And when we were actually doing our analysis, we realized that uh, so specifically there was a target group of delivery riders. So we realized that if a delivery rider is earning, let's say, around 1500 rupees, 1200 to 1500 rupees a day, he has to actually use almost 18 to 20% of his earning into fuel cost. So he was almost refueling the vehicle for around 200 to 50 rupees a day, because he had to use that vehicle for a good 90 to 100 kilometers throughout, which easily requires 2 liter of fuel. So in that case, we realize that if we can actually help these guys save this fuel cost and also kind of introduce a vehicle that will actually, uh, you know, compete with the petrol vehicles. For them, what basic parameters they required is it should have good number of or a good acceleration. It should have average nominal speed somewhere around 55-60 kilometers per hour, and the payload should be good because of varying use cases. It should have a payload of, let's say, around 150 to 200 kgs on it, and also it should be able to actually help them climb, uh, I would say, flyovers, or maybe
Okay.
unplanned roads which have uh, steep inclines basically. So in that case, those were the basic features that people were requiring, and apart from that, people did not realize that uh, as a cost of ownership of a vehicle, it is not only about the upfront cost that you are paying for the vehicle, but it is also about the cost that you have to incur in terms of maintenance or in terms of fuel charges of that vehicle. Which was,
Okay.
if we compare that cost of ownership with an electric vehicle, in 3 years, the customer is able to save so much on the fuel cost and the maintenance cost that he can buy two more electric vehicles. So that was a very staggering figure that we realized, and then this is what needs to be translated and what needs to be communicated with the customers. That is what we started doing, and that is where we
Okay.
started getting good responses from the public. And after Shark Tank, definitely we got good and a lot of love from India. So around 10,000 people reached out, showing interest to buy such vehicles, which will help them carry more than just their family members, or a passenger, but can help them carry cargoes and goods basically, which will act more than just as a mobility solution, but also can double up to a business use case vehicle. So I think that was some learnings for us.
Good to know. Good to know. And one out of the context questions: how was your experience of Shark Tank?
So Shark Tank experience was fantastic. We were not ready, or we were not prepared for such a response. We were always prepared for the worst case scenario. What if they question the valuations? What if they question the sales? Or let's say, what if there are multiple questions
Of course, yeah.
that we don't have answers to? That is what we were trying and preparing for, but we did not prepare for the best case scenario where we might get sharks fighting to be a part of the company. So that was something out of the world. That was like a one time experience, once in a lifetime experience. And so there was this one mistake that we did on Shark Tank live, that it did not occur us that we can ask all three of them to collate their forces and infuse a bigger
Yes.
chunk of money and have all the three sharks. We did
Yes.
not,
Yes.
we were in so much stress, there was so much going on in
Yes.
front of us, it did not occur our head. But then we solved that mistake. Uh, we reached out to Ashnir, we reached out to Piyush as well, and
Yes.
then we have four sharks from Shark Tank India right now. Even they have infused
Amazing.
capital into the company. And I believe from whatever views and whatever I would say the TRP that happened, we were the top three pitches on the season one. And
Amazing.
after having the other two sharks, I think we were the highest investment on season one, since we
Okay.
raised 2 crores from Shark Tank. So that is an amazing feeling, and we from Shark Tank we actually got good validation from the industry, from general public, from sharks.
Yes.
So it was a proud moment for us, and we have started getting the recognition. We have started. It also helped us open a couple of doors to good bigger B2B clients, which might have been very difficult because these
Yes.
companies
Yes.
won't entertain startups basically. So in that case, I think Shark Tank was like a boon for us, and it did help us to scale up our company and to grow the company at a bigger level.
Yes, true. And one more thing I noticed in the newest this season of Shark Tank, there are many companies who are into electric vehicles, but I've
Right.
seen these sharks. They are very, they're taking it very carefully. They are not investing much in those companies, and they, of course, their concerns are true. When you look at the things from their point of view, the things are totally changed right now, and of course the market has grew so much that even they are very very careful that they should not invest in such and such. And I think I remember one of the shark, I'm very bad with names, so I don't remember the name, but one of the sharks said that we have already invested in one of such companies, so I'm out of the game right now. So this was
Mhm.
very clear. So I think he might be mentioning your company. Is that true?
Maybe. Maybe
Yeah.
to be honest, I mean, there have been so much workload. I did not get to watch this season, but I definitely
Yes.
plan to binge watch it sometime when I get
Yes.
time. Uh, However, I think they must be mentioning about us itself. Uh,
Yes, yes,
and yes, their concerns are definitely true, because if we look at the market, there are more than 500 plus EV players right now in the country, and
yes,
not everyone is genuine in that case. I mean, people are
yes, true.
just opening up companies, importing from outside the country, and just rebranding those
Yes,
vehicles, putting up their stickers and selling. There's no after sales service, there's no distribution network, there's no resolution to customer problems. Basically, that is a issue. There are no availability of
yes,
spare parts basically. So all such
yes,
problems, they definitely create a big question mark in the customer's
of
perspective, in
course.
the investor's perspective, in the B2B clients perspectives basically, which is
Yes,
where even we are sometimes put for a trial by our B2B
yes,
clients. What if this happens? What if that happens? And we have to definitely prove ourselves to actually showcase them that we are trying to do something different, and we are one
yes,
of those reliable guys that you can work with. So I can
yes,
completely understand their concerns.
yes, yes, that's true. Okay, so Mr. Pritesh, there is one more question. It is something related to the finance part of the vehicles. Now, of course, because you reach out to the individual customer base. Now, how do you approach the pricing for your EVs? And are there any financing options available for individual customers?
Definitely. So actually, when we were, when we were actually sitting on the activity of pricing our vehicles, the pricing strategy of the vehicles, we actually did a market survey where we went out in the market. We talked to more than almost 30 dealers of various other brands, and from online itself, a couple of websites that we saw, we actually did benchmark around 50 OEMs pan India with similar kind of offerings, as in low speed vehicle offerings, and we benchmark them in terms of what what are the performance that they're giving, what are the type of components that they're using, what are the power of those components, basically what is the range that they're providing, and what is the charging time. And the main very important crucial part is the price of the vehicle. Since India is a price driven market, people are worried about the affordability of the product, they're worried about the, and they are actually willing to invest in a vehicle that is value for money. So in that case, whenever we were doing the pricing, we wanted to always have a competitive pricing. Again, I would not say that we wanted to be one of the most cheapest vehicle manufacturer. That is not our vision. We want to actually give people a vehicle that will actually make a difference in their life. It's fine. People are willing to pay that extra buck for that benefit that they're getting out of vehicle, but all they require is, I would say, a value for money product, a good quality product, and that is where we have priced ourselves fairly average and equivalent to other OEMs. We are definitely currently running a couple of early bird discounts for our early bird adopters, basically, and we are also going to start referral programs for our early, uh, I would say, early adopters, early customers, basically, where they can refer us as per their, I would say, experience of using the vehicle, and for every referral, they might end up, uh, you know, earning some points that they can redeem. So that is what we did when it comes to pricing. What was the follow-on question? I actually forgot.
Actually, are there any financing options available?
Oh, correct.
Yes.
So to talk about the financing options, definitely we realize that trying to do a business in a country like India, which is very price sensitive, financing would play a very important role, and which is where we started reaching out to multiple nationalized banks, multiple private banks, multiple NBFCs. There are a couple of startups which are working on financing of EVs or any other basically providing personal loans, basically, or peer-to-peer lending. So we are talking to multiple people, and I'm happy to share that we actually are working with more than five top banks in the
Okay.
country, and this includes the nationalized banks and the private banks as well. And there are also a couple of flexible options from couple of NBFCs as well. And we are also taking a couple of subvention just to ensure that our early adopters, they don't have to bear the heat of the interest rates, the higher interest rate when it comes to owning electric vehicles. So which is where we are actually splitting that EMIs, and we are paying some part of the EMIs as a company, and we are actually providing EMIs which are starting as low as 2,500 to 3,000 rupees a month, and with the interest rate which is as low as 8.5 to 9%
Okay.
annually. So that is what we are trying to work on.
Okay, that is quite interesting, and thanks to the changes in the government policies also, they are actually government is taking steps to sustainability, and the companies who are doing work towards this. So that's actually a good option for the people, for especially the individual customers who want to go ahead with your EVs. Okay, so next question is, Mr. Pritesh, is actually the thing is, nowadays, though people are buying the EVs, they are very, very active in this segment. But when it comes to maintenance and repairs, that is where somewhere people think that we are not going to get lots of maintenance and repairs, so let us go back to a traditional vehicles, because every
Correct.
local person, they know how to repair and maintain a particular traditional vehicle. So now, what is your take? How do you provide, or rather, how do you handle the maintenance and repairs of your EVs? And how extensive is the technical knowledge that a person should have when buying a EV, especially from your company?
Okay, understood. So this was one crucial aspect that we were working on at the company when we were actually designing these vehicles. We wanted to ensure, because from the market research we had this clarity that the vehicles that are sold in masses in the country, for example, like a Splendor or an Activa, basically, in that case, all the gully nukkad ka, mechanics, basically
Oh,
they have understood how that vehicle functions and what are the maintenance parameters, basically, which is where we also wanted to make a vehicle which is not, I would say, very unique, but which will actually be majorly standardized or majorly made by parts that are already standardized in the market. For example, if I have to talk about our Mitra model, which is the high-speed model, so it
okay.
comes with 17-inch wheels, which is like the very basic, wheel, uh, which also couple of garages, basically local garages, they have the tires out there, or they know how to actually take care of a puncture of such kind of wheel. And in terms of, let's say, the the accessibility to components, so we have made the body panels very less complex in effort to actually make it very easily serviceable. So that is what
Okay.
we actually thought on. So we were very much focused on standardization and following the industry standards. We did not want to actually go out of the market and start developing something own and start introducing something which is off standard, which is not available in the market. So that is there. So this was about the standardization of the vehicle. To talk about the servicing, so, like I mentioned, serviceability of the vehicle was a very key aspect, and we wanted it to be drilled down to each local garage person. Basically, we wanted to make the vehicle so easy for him to service that it is as uh, equivalent to servicing like a Splendor or a Passion or an Activa, the vehicles which are sold in masses. So that was one thing. Another thing is our dealerships itself are going to be the service partners, the first level service partners. That will be the
Okay.
first touch point for any customer that is buying our vehicle in terms of servicing. The dealers itself will have their authorized service centers. They will have authorized uh, parts of the company, basically
Okay.
the original parts from the company itself. uh, Apart from this, we realize that there might be situations where people are buying vehicles in tier 2 cities, where they have to actually come to a bigger city or a bigger town, like Nasik. In Nasik district, basically it's a very big district, but
Yes.
in Nashik city, if there is going to be a dealership, there might be a user who would actually come out from a town, uh, from throughout the district, maybe let's say 50, 60 kilometers away from the city. He will come here, will buy the vehicle from the dealer, but when there is a issue of servicing, he cannot actually come down every time 50 kilometers. So we have tied up with you know uh, companies as big as My TVS and Ready Assist,
Okay.
which their bread and butter itself is servicing, basically, and they are
Yes.
present pan India. They are, I believe, each company is covering more than 10,000 pin codes, and
Oh, wow.
more than 100 cities in India. So in this case, basically, these companies will also become our servicing partners. So it is not compulsory that a customer, once buying it from a dealership, he has to only come to the dealership. He can also go to a, I would say, franchisee partner, just like a My TVS or a Ready Access, which is nearby to him. He can get it serviced. If he is not able to go, he can actually book a service over a call, or on the Revamp app, where the service executive comes to his doorstep and services the vehicle. All the customer needs to do is explain his problem statement, and the service executive will come with a replacement vehicle. If the vehicle is serviceable, he will service it at the doorstep. If the vehicle is not serviceable, he will hand over a replacement vehicle to the client, and he will take the vehicle, the faulty vehicle, with him, service it, and hand it over to the client a couple of days later, maybe a week later.
Okay.
And this was specifically, I believe, we are the only company which is trying to work on a backup fleet, specifically for our B2B clients, because we realize that their businesses are getting hampered just because our vehicles in their fleet, if they actually suffer with any breakdown, they're bleeding money, which we did not want to do. So that is where we have kept this option of a backup fleet, which can be availed over a call, and people can still run their business, basically. So that is what we are doing with servicing.
Okay, that is quite interesting because I have noticed in many the companies that are providing EVs, especially two wheelers, so they are not doing any such type of things. So that is
Correct.
quite an interesting point that you have put forward. And now this is related to the service and maintenance. Are there any new types of innovations that you and your company is working on so that will benefit your customer base?
Okay. So if I have to actually talk upon, we are actually working on good number of, I would say, in-house developed products. But more than being an innovator-driven company, we are actually focused on more than being a customer-oriented company. As
Yes, okay.
in, we want to make the vehicles so reliable and so mundane for the customer to use that he should not feel the heat of switching from an petrol vehicle to an electric vehicle. He should feel
Yes.
that he is just driving any other vehicle, and it's so easy for him to transition. So that was the entire thought process. What
Okay.
we are trying to do from the technology perspective is we are trying to work out on multiple combinations, permutations and combinations on the same vehicle, where depending on varying use cases, let's say if a customer is requiring high warranty on the battery packs, he can go for a LFP battery pack instead of a lithium ion battery pack. So he can go for a lithium phosphate battery pack. Let's say if a customer is requiring higher range, then he can go to a lithium ion battery pack. Apart from this, let's say if a customer actually requires battery swapping because his running everyday running average is more than what 130, 140 kilometers, which is very rare. But
Yes.
still, if there are any customers, they can actually opt for battery swapping option, where we are tying up with couple of other startups and couple of other OEMs which are already in the battery swapping business. So we don't want to do everything our own. We are looking and we are majorly focused on collaborating with other partners also in the industry, so that our customer is getting benefited and his life becomes easy. That is the entire motto behind the company's vision. And apart from battery swapping also, we are also coming with a couple of models which are also going to be with fixed battery packs, on which
Okay.
we can confidently give good number of warranty. And this can actually be a problem solver for the rural areas or the tier 3 cities where the
Mm.
battery swapping infrastructure is not strong.
Not
But
okay.
basically, if there is good electric supply, basically the chargers also are so standardized and so mundane that it is as easy as uh, putting your mobile phone on charge. Your vehicle is as easy to charge as like your mobile phone. All you need is a 3-pin socket
Okay.
and normal power supply. You just plug in the charger. It's a portable charger. You can carry it anywhere, and you can plug it into any power supply, and the vehicle starts
Okay.
charging. So that
Oh,
is
wow.
that is what we have tried to work on, and majorly it was only because so that the customer is satisfied, the customer is happy, because the vehicle is not much complex and it's not overloaded with technology.
Of course, of course.
There might be good number of technologies that other OEMs are introducing. There might be touch
Yes.
screens, there might be GPS, but that is not what the customer wants. He wants a vehicle that is reliable, and that is
Yes.
actually that is solving the problem.
Yes.
So that is what we are focused on.
Okay. And now one more question now because you've talked about the batteries. So I was just wondering these lithium ion batteries and the battery packages, do you manufacture it in your organization, in your unit only, or do you get it outsourced?
So what we have tried to do, just like I touched upon multiple variants that we are trying to work on. So when it comes to a fixed battery pack, we are making those fixed battery pack ourselves in house.
Okay.
When it comes to a portable battery pack, so there's a difference between a portable battery pack and a swappable battery pack. Basically,
Yes. Okay.
portable battery pack is the one that you can take it out from the vehicle, take it into your home, and then charge the battery pack.
Yes.
You don't have to plug the vehicle on charging. You can charge the battery pack as per your convenience.
Yes.
So that portable battery pack also we are making ourselves. When it
Okay.
comes to a swappable battery pack, that we are not doing because we are not in the battery swapping business, because that business itself is a whole different ball game, and we don't want to
Yes.
take a bite more than we can chew right now.
Of course.
So we believe in partnering up with other companies, collaborating with other companies, which is where the batteries which are swappable and which are compliant to the swapping infrastructures, that we
Okay.
are partnering up with other OEMs, or I would say other battery players. Uh, However, when it comes to fixed battery packs, we are ourselves making those battery packs on which we can give, I would say, bigger warranty periods.
Okay, okay. That is interesting. Okay, and one more thing I wanted to know. Now you have a, you have a, obviously every company wants to increase the demand for their products. So now I just wanted to know, this is the last question. So I just wanted to know, how do you try to approach the new customer base? Are there any strategy that you're pulling up to be, or you only working on loyalty, on increasing the loyalty of your customer base, or are you planning to increase the customer base, or is it in India, or entering some other this cities also, or some other countries as well? So just wanted to know a basic outlook on
Sure.
that.
So I would like to actually break this question in two parts. First thing is
Yes.
how we are trying to retain a customer. Second thing, how we are trying to grow that customer base. First
Yes.
thing is when I have to talk about retention, the major uh, important parameter for us is to keep the customer happy. Basically, the customer should be happy in that case. And what I mean by that is basically we want to make it so easy for him to accommodate our vehicle in his daily use case, and to also make a vehicle that will actually help him run his business in a very effective manner, or help him actually expand his business. So
Mm.
that is a major thought process. We also want to actually uh, have our dealerships which are more than just normal dealerships. Those
Okay.
dealerships will actually be like the, I would say, uh, they are going to be the touch points that are going to help customers. They will also educate the customers if they are actually going to get into a micro entrepreneurship. They are going to educate the customers in a case that how to run a business effectively. So we are
Okay.
actually trying to do something much more than just starting up dealerships and just selling vehicles
Kind of
and
value
basically,
addition.
yeah, I mean,
Yes.
everyone else is trying to do that thing. They are just willing, they're just trying to offload their vehicles in the market, and they are not caring if the customer is actually requiring it or not, or if the vehicle is actually making that difference, or basically whatever these companies are claiming, if those vehicles are actually being true to that claim. We are very focused on that because we want our customers to be happy, because a happy customer is going to be our brand ambassador. We don't have to
Of
actually
course.
give him any incentives. In that case, if he's happy using the product, he will go out and he will tell 10 different customers or 10 different people from his network that, bhaiya, this is the vehicle that is helping me do this. If you are thinking of a vehicle, you should consider this vehicle. So that is
Yes.
the first, I would say, major important factor that we are focused on. And to talk about the go-to-market strategy and the growth strategy for us, right now we are trying to work out on multiple models. So we majorly are splitting down our business model in two different verticals, which is B2C and which is B2B. So B2C
Okay.
means business to customer, which is via dealerships. B2B is business to business, basically. And we have
Okay.
different teams which are working on both the models. In terms of
Okay.
B2C, if I have to touch upon that, basically we are also working on various separate, uh, you know, very separate strategies, I would say. As in, we are also talking to multi-brand dealerships. So we want to increase the touch points. We want to increase, basically the places where people can actually go and try and test the vehicle, probably take a test ride, and he gets basic understanding about what our vehicle is doing, or how our
Sure.
vehicle is different. So we want to increase those touch points for them. That is where we are also going with multi-brand dealerships. However, we have already started talking to exclusive dealerships, which might start functioning from the next 2 to 3 months, and
Okay.
which will be exclusively only for Revamp. And there, our both the models, the Buddie as well as the Mitra model, will be available at the dealers, and that is where these dealerships will be the touch point where people who don't have any clarity in their life, what they want to do. They are probably, I might be talking about people who have recently lost their jobs because of COVID, maybe, or because of the recent layoffs, uh, because the recession like
Yes.
conditions, or people who are unemployed because they are not clear on what they want to do. So such kind of people can walk into our dealerships. There might be two different models. We are willing to work as an aggregator model, where since we are already working with B2B clients, we can actually have a pool of customers who have already bought our vehicles, who have a couple of attachments also, and we can
Yes.
collate this pool of customers, hand it over to the B2B clients. These B2B clients will employ these people. So that is how we are trying to work out as a entire ecosystem. When it comes to entrepreneurship, our dealerships are also working out on a model where we will finance the vehicle, we will finance the attachment, and we will also finance for a basic working capital, let's say 20,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees working capital, so that this individual can start his own business on the vehicle.
Wow.
So that is where we are trying to go one step ahead and helping customers actually to making an impact in their life by helping them
Mm.
earn their livelihood and support their family. This is about the B2C side. When it comes to B2B side, actually we are trying to reach out to the direct end customers. For example, Swiggy, Zomato, or Amazon,
Yes.
Flipkart. We kind of understand that these are not going to be our end customers,
Of
but what we
course.
want to do is we want to understand the problems from the horse's mouth. So we have
Mm.
actually started running pilots. We have run multiple pilots with multiple companies. It also includes, food delivery giants, e-commerce giants, basically couple of people who are only into fleet business, who
Okay.
actually outsource their fleet to different companies.
Of course. Mm.
So such kind of people, we have already started, such kind of companies, we have already started running pilots to understand their pain points, their problem statements
Okay.
from their riders, which is where we are trying to optimize the vehicles and probably also accommodate couple of customizations from their end, which is
Okay.
which will actually end up solving their problem. So it won't be in a case where there are 10 different vehicles that are available in the market, and then these companies have to pick and choose which is the vehicle that is on which they have to compromise the least. We don't want these companies to compromise. We are stepping up and we are willing to tell them, "Ki, boss, you tell us what you want. What is your
Of
problem
course.
statement? We'll solve that problem
Mm.
statement for you. We'll make a vehicle. We'll make an attachment specifically for this, and this will actually help them, increase their revenues, increase their business, probably expand, probably employ more people. So overall, this is entirely going to impact the, uh, I would say, the economy of India and the ecosystem, the society. It's a long-term vision for us. It will probably take us, I would say, what, 10 years to do this, but that is something that will actually set us apart from
Yes.
other companies who are just in the business of selling vehicles. We don't want to just be the people who are just in the business of selling vehicles. We want to actually be the company that is stepping up and solving real life problems, on ground problems of people.
Yes.
So that is
Oh,
how
that is very
we
inspiring.
yeah.
Okay, so basically, this is what I got. You are adding a emotional quotient to your strategy, right?
Definitely.
Yes.
Correct. So we actually want to bring a socio-economic impact. We don't want to only, focus and bombard the jargons that we are, carbon neutral company, or we are
Yes.
just
Yes.
working towards the environment. This is all gimmicky. It is definitely. I
Mm.
mean, all the EV OEMs are going to work on, carbon
Of
neutrality
course.
and supporting the environment. But what about supporting the customer? What about supporting the society, basically? What about upscaling those guys? That is where we are also trying to work it out. So we are also working out on the environmental quotient. We are working on the social quotient, uh,
Mm.
and I believe India is a very big country right now for us to cater.
Yes.
And even if there's going to be competition, we are happy to share the podium with those guys,
Of course.
and we'll be happy to collaborate with other companies to
Yes.
actually drive down this vision and to make a difference. Uh, but for the first 2 years, I believe India itself will be a big market for us to cater, and which
Yes.
is where I will like to go down to the previous question about our future expansion plans, the foreign
Yes.
expansion plans. We have already got interest from neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka,
Wow.
Pakistan. We have a couple of interest from Dubai, the entire UAE region. We have
Oh,
interest from the African continent as well. So, but again, like I said, we don't want to actually take a bite more than we can chew. Otherwise,
yes.
we would end up actually committing something and not, being true to our word. So we want to focus on the Indian market first, and then slowly look out for strategic partners in these companies. So recently, we also were talking to a company based in Japan, where they are also willing to have such products which will help their economy and help the
Yes.
people to get employment. So there are good leads that we have, but we would probably partner up with a couple of companies there who will take care of the business there,
Yes.
and we want to focus on the Indian market.
Yes, of course, India is actually growing, and that's what I said earlier. Also, government of India is actually pushing the sustainability and the renewable energy companies so much because they want India to be on the platform, on the map of the of the renewable India map. So good to know
Correct.
that, Mr. Mahajan, we had a very wonderful experience talking to you, learning about everything from your company, about your company, how you're manufactured, how you're working on the supply, how you're working on the services, and especially the customer base, because at the end, everything is about the customer.
Correct.
So thank you so much for your time, and we really do appreciate that from your pretty busy schedule, you came to Renewable India, being a star of this the show there. So
Oh,
it's
I am
good to
humbled.
know. No, thank you so much for spending your time here and giving us all the information, all the knowledge about your company, and especially that one point that I want to tell you that I really liked about the things that you have told us is putting your customer first before the
Correct.
company. That is how the companies are going to grow. So that is, thank you so much for inspiring us in this way, and we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this opportunity, Shivalika. I'm actually very glad that I got this chance of speaking out my thoughts, and also probably putting it out to the entire world about what we are trying to do and how we will be happy to actually work collaboratively with any other companies who want to partner up with us. We don't believe in competing with
Of
others.
course.
Basically, it's not a healthy game. We want to
Yes.
actually focus on the bigger problems. We want to focus on the bigger picture here, which is where we
Yes.
would definitely love to collaborate with good number of companies.
Okay, that is good. Thank you so much, Mr. Pritesh.
Thank you.